Okay, now I've just had to reset everything and start a new match with these two players in it so that the game time will run less, so I'll be able to show you what happens at the end of the match. So these two people are in the match at the moment, and they're at the start of the game. So I'm just going to move one person north to give them a higher score than the other person. And now I'm going to show you one of the last things while we're waiting, which are the administrator commands, which this person is Reaper. So if I type in, or this person's Chris, sorry. So if I type in help, it'll show me the commands list, and there's a few extra commands seen as they're an administrator. An administrator can also kill the server, so kill actually shuts down the server, and I'll show you that as the last thing after everything's done. Change rank, well, you can change a player's rank to whatever you want. So if I change, this person is Reaper, I'm pretty sure. Doesn't matter, I can go change rank. We'll change Reaper, why not, to a god. Reaper's been changed to a god. So then Reaper can also kick people from the server, which only administrators and gods can do. Normal players can't. But I can still set Reaper back down to a normal player with this command. And then if I want to check my rank, it says I've been changed to a rank. I can go who, and it'll show that admin, I'm now a god, and these two are regular. So if this person, I can actually change the rank back if I want. Seeing as I'm an administrator and I'm higher than them, I can change them to regular, and they've been changed back to regular. So I can just go who again, and unfortunately for them, they're back to regular. So the next one I can do, and as an administrator, is kick. So if I wanted to kick someone from the game, I can go kick Reaper. And this one was Reaper, so they've been kicked from the match, and it shows the people who are in the lobby that someone has been kicked by me. What you can see here is I've just reset the server again and set the time for a match even shorter so that we can see what happens after a match and how the scores worked out. So what I've done is these two are on the same team, and I've moved north to give this guy a higher score, and I've entered this person and this person into battle, and this person has won the battle to give them 1,000 points. So it's just I'll even give them a defense plus to give them even more points. So that means that this team's going to win the match. So I'm just going to wait for the match to end now, and then I can show you what it looks like. Okay, and just to show you here, this is the end of the match. So this is what comes up. You can just see the winning team was Team A because they had so many points more than Team B. And the match ends and it'll restart again in 15 seconds. But I'm going to actually just quit the people from the match now. Okay, so that's it for the demonstration of the game. So now I'm actually going to run through the code and show you how it works. So this is XK-Vation.cpp. It's the actual entry point of the program. So it comes into this in main. So the first thing we do is it goes into init and load. This basically loads all the databases and starts all the variables that we need for the actual server to keep running. It says lobby running is equal to true. This is basically our game loop, or our server loop, so it'll just keep looping through and it won't shut down. And listening reports and then adding new people to the server and such. The get timer reset is to reset the server timer and how long it's been up. So then they can use the time command to figure out how long it's been up. System log. I've actually got 3 log files with this program. One is two of them are the user log and the error log, which were actually in the simple mud example, and I also have a system log which puts in all system files, such as, like, as we have here, like loading databases, databases loaded, server start, server shutdown, things like that, just to keep track of system things as well as user and errors. And just on that note, I'm just going to say that, and just on that note, I'll mention that when I started programming this project, I based it on the simple mud example that John gave us in class. So there's some similarities in this to the actual example. So the actual logon handler is pretty much the same. I didn't change that. I was planning on changing it at the end, but I didn't have enough time to come back and change it. All the other handlers are done differently, and I'll bring your attention to that when we come to them. The player is pretty much, it's very similar to the way it was done in the simple mud, and the player database and entity database are the same. But I haven't used the player database and kind of thing for the other databases, such as the shop database, the XKit database. I've written another one, and I'll go over them as well when we get them. So, sorry, to come back to this, We've we've put into the system log that it's loading the databases, and then it goes into the first database it loads is the XKit database. Then it's the shop database, and we need to do the XKit first, so it has a load of XKits to actually populate the shop with. Then the map database, player database, and the commands list, which is pretty much mapping the commands so that they can enter a load of different things and it'll still give the same command. I'll just go through these now just as an example. So I'll start off with the XKit. The XKit's database is actually populated programmatically. The way it works is that it inherits from the entity database vector, so database vector. So if I actually find the header file for this, it's from the entity database vector, so that's what I'm using. It's basically just storing all of the XKits that I make with this function in the vector, and some easy functions to use it. So what way am I creating the XKits? An XKit object. This is in the XKit object. I've created some enumerations here just to make things easier. The XKit type, whether it's a passive type or a cast type, and the string things. This is something similar to what was done in the example as well. It's just something I thought was quite handy. So in the constructor, we've got a type we pass, the name of the XKit we passed in, a type, whether it's the cast or passive, an affinity, whether it can be red, blue, white, black, and such. This is the value, so how much it's worth. This will be like how much you sell and buy it for in the shop. This is a boolean of whether the shop owns the XKit or not. This is so that all of the XKits in the shop that are going to be started in the shop at the start of the game won't run out. You can keep on buying them and they'll never run out. And whether it's an XKit that's found in a level, say, they can be sold to the shop, and then when someone buys it, it's removed from the shop's inventory. Now this is a function pointer. This is a pretty handy way of doing it. It means I don't have to create a load of classes that inherit from XKit to kind of change the way the XKits work and give them different functions like commands. So what I do is I basically pass in a command that has two in-game players, and it returns a string. And in the actual object, I store that command, and I'm going to call it when I call the perform function command. So this is basically anytime I'm going to use an XKit ability, I'm going to call it a perform function, and it'll do its respective ability. So if I created the heal one, so say here I've got heal, I passed in the function heal, which if I go to XKit functions, it's basically just a file with a load of static functions that can be passed in. So you've got your strength +1, it's just basically adds 5 to their strength and returns the string of what it did. The heal is similar, as in it just increases the person's health and returns the command that would have been printed out in a combat. So at the moment there are just, if I find XKit functions, these are all the XKits I've put into the game at the moment. I ran out of time when I wanted to put more things in, but basically it's the same. It's just pretty much just wash, rinse and repeat for all the different things. Just come up with different abilities, like the water blast will be the exact same as fireball, just with a different affinity. I can put in different types of heal. It's all pretty much the same. So now back to the database. That's pretty much, I create objects and I pass them into the vector. Now these objects are the actual XKit objects. So every XKit in the game is going to be populated into this vector, and then if they're going to be added to someone's inventory or into the shop database, they will be added in a pointer form. So it'll be a pointer back to the object in this list. And as this list doesn't change after load time, as in there's nothing added to it or removed from it, it means that the pointers won't be corrupt. So the only I've only got two functions in this. It's get XKit, some things to help, which just runs through the list and returns a pointer to an XKit in the list, which you pass in a name for it. And the get random XKit is just basically returns a random XKit from the list. Okay. Now next was the shop. Now the shop load function actually reads everything in from a file, so it's whatever is in the shop is constant. So when the server shuts down, it serializes all of its XKits that it has in the shop and its money into a file, and then when it starts up, it loads them up again. So basically it's got a money variable and it has a map of its X kits. This is so I can run through with IDs and remove them and add them without having to worry about the function pointers too much. So the actual shop file is shop.shop, and before getting into this I'll actually open it up here. It's stored in shop.shop. You can see here, this is probably the most basic one, one of the most basic file read and write I have in the game. It's pretty much just writes in the money first, it's read in first, and then a list of the names of the X kits it has, and they can find the pointers to them. It's fairly simple. So as you can see there, it's just the first one is read into money, and then while the file is good, it's going to read the thing into ID, whatever it reads from the file into ID, checks if it's not basically nothing read in, just an empty line. It's if it is, it's not going to do this, and otherwise it's going to get the X kit from the database and add it into the list. The reason I had this in was there was a problem with the player database, whereas it was reading in an empty file and creating all sorts of problems, which is kind of annoying me. Basically the save is the exact same thing, it's just overriding and basically saves the exact same thing. It's just writing the name out to the file, money, and then the names of all the X kits it has. List X kits is the command that's used where we type in, say, X kits or XS or list or something like that. It's a simple enough thing. It's just put in the title of all the things, run through the list, add it to the string. Actually, I've put in the toString method of the actual X kit so that it can. It's easier for me to do it. I'll just to string them for each thing, and I can use it for more than just the one. So again, it just puts it into a string. By XKit removes and one of the non-shop owned variables from XKits from the shop list, and adds the money to the shop, as you can see here. And sell XKit is the opposite of that. It adds an XKit to the shop and removes money. And again, get XKit is just another helper function to get an XKit from the shop, a pointer to an XKit from the shop. Next is map database. Now at the moment I only have one map being loaded into the game and for the game to be working with, but I've set it up so that I can use more maps in the future. So I have a map of game maps for the map database, and then inside each game map I have a list of rooms. I have a map of rooms, basically. So, and each of these rooms has a room ID, and then it has an ID saved in each room for north, south, east, and west. So whether you can go that direction or not. If it's 0, you can't go that direction, and if you can go that direction, it's the ID of the room that you can go to. And I'll show you that now in a minute. At the moment, this is the map database. All it has is basically the map of maps with the map name in it. It's read from maps.txt, so maps.txt is actually, I'll show you that. It's just a text file similar to the way Players was done of all the available maps in the thing, which I've got one called Underground, and then it looks for Underground, XKit map or SKMP. This is the way the map is stored. So you can be able to see it there. Basically, on our map we've got rooms that are normal rooms, and we've got special rooms that XKits can spawn in. So the first thing I have here is a special identifier. So it's 0 if it's not a special room, and if it's 1 if it is. This is basically means it'll check. It'll actually gives it the option to spawn an item in one of those rooms. The room ID is the room's ID. Then we have got the room name, and then these are the directions they can go, be it north, south, east, or west, or the room IDs of the other rooms, as I was saying earlier. So room ID 1, if I go east from room ID, it's going to go to room 2, and this is room 2, so it'll go here. And then if it wants to go west from there, it goes back to 1, and such. The last bit here is the description. Instead of just reading one part, it's going to continue reading until it finds an @ sign and put that as description of the room. Basically, it goes on like that for all of it. There's 42 rooms in this, in a 7x6 grid, which you saw there when I was going north, south, east, and west. You could see the little toString function I put in to turn the actual map into kind of a grid of zeros for the O's for the rooms and